What is going on with Bianca Belair? The EST of WWE has just shared a concerning health update with fans, and this could potentially have an impact on when we see her back inside a WWE ring. At the same time, Seth Rollins has been noticeably absent following his massive SummerSlam showdown with Roman Reigns, a match that appeared to bring their long-running rivalry to a definitive conclusion. But with the bloodline situation getting more complicated every week, and Royce Keys now making his move against the family, could WWE be preparing for Seth Rollins to return at exactly the right time? And could we actually see Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins on the same side again? Today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about Bianca Belair's health update, what it could mean for her WWE return, Seth Rollins' situation, and why a potential Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins reunion could make a lot of sense heading toward Survivor Series. Welcome back to Wrestling Pro Insights. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we have plenty of WWE news, rumors, and storyline updates coming your way. Let's get into it. Let's start with Bianca Belair because her latest update is something WWE fans should definitely pay attention to. Bianca Belair has been away from in-ring competition for a very long time. Her last match came at WrestleMania 41, where she competed against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in an incredible triple threat match. That match was one of the most physical women's matches on the WrestleMania card, and Bianca ultimately suffered a finger injury during the contest. Initially, fans expected her absence to be relatively short, but things obviously changed. Bianca eventually underwent surgery on the injured finger, and what began as an injury-related absence eventually became a much longer break. Then came another major announcement. At WrestleMania 42, Bianca revealed that she was pregnant with her first child with Montez Ford. That completely changed the timeline for her return. Earlier this month, Bianca and Montez welcomed their first child, a baby boy named Romeo Leonardo Allen Crawford. WWE officially confirmed the birth on August 4th, and fans across the wrestling world celebrated with the couple. So naturally, fans have been wondering, when is Bianca coming back? And is she going to be physically ready to wrestle again? Well, Bianca has now given fans another update, and it is not exactly the update they were hoping to hear. On Instagram, Bianca revealed that she is currently dealing with carpal tunnel syndrome in both hands, and the symptoms she described are concerning. Bianca said that her fingers are completely numb, that she has no feeling in the finger that previously underwent surgery, and that she has lost grip strength. She also mentioned dealing with what she called mom thumb. That update is especially notable because Bianca has only recently become a mother, and she is obviously going through a completely different physical phase of her life right now. This isn't simply a case of an old finger injury still bothering her. She is now describing symptoms affecting both hands. Reports on her Instagram update state that Bianca has been dealing with numbness, reduced grip strength, and a lack of sensation in the surgically repaired finger. And that immediately raises an important question. Could this delay Bianca Belair's WWE return even further? The honest answer is that we don't know yet. There has been no official WWE announcement giving us a specific return date for Bianca, and we shouldn't automatically assume that this means she will be out for months longer. But wrestling is an extremely physical business. A WWE superstar needs to be able to grip an opponent, protect themselves during a fall, perform strength-based maneuvers, and react quickly in the ring. If Bianca is experiencing numbness in both hands and doesn't currently have normal grip strength, that's obviously something that needs to be addressed before she returns to full contact competition. And considering she has just given birth, there is absolutely no reason for WWE or Bianca to rush this process. This is something fans sometimes forget. We all want to see Bianca Belair back. She is one of WWE's biggest stars. She is an incredible athlete, a former champion, and one of the most recognizable performers in the women's division. But her return shouldn't be based on how quickly WWE can get her back. It should be based on whether Bianca is actually ready. She has already dealt with a significant finger injury. She underwent surgery. She spent months away from wrestling. She went through a pregnancy. And now she is adjusting to life as a new mother while dealing with symptoms affecting both hands. That's a lot. So even though fans are desperate to see the EST return, the smartest thing WWE can do is give her the time she needs. And when she eventually comes back, the story could be massive. Imagine the reaction when Bianca Belair finally walks through that curtain again. But for now, her latest update suggests that her road back isn't completely straightforward. And while Bianca's return remains uncertain, there is another major WWE superstar whose future has fans talking. Seth Rollins' current situation is completely different. At SummerSlam 2026, Seth Rollins finally faced Roman Reigns in what WWE presented as the latest and possibly final chapter of their legendary rivalry. And this wasn't just another match. This was years of history coming back together. Rollins and Reigns were once brothers in the Shield. Then Seth betrayed Roman and Dean Ambrose. That betrayal became one of the most important moments in modern WWE history. Over the years, Rollins and Reigns went from brothers to enemies, from allies to bitter rivals, and eventually to two of the biggest stars WWE has ever produced. At SummerSlam, Roman Reigns finally defeated Seth Rollins, and he did it without bloodline interference. Roman survived a brutal match and hit 3 consecutive spears to finally put Rollins away. WWE officially recorded Roman Reigns as the winner of the World Heavyweight Championship match. But the most important moment happened after the match, because Roman didn't attack Seth. He didn't celebrate over him. Instead, Roman extended his fist, and Seth accepted. The two men performed the famous Shield fist bump. That moment was enormous. After more than a decade of betrayal, revenge, and hatred, Roman and Seth finally appeared to close that chapter of their story. WWE itself described the match as the final chapter of the Shield story, while other coverage noted that the fist bump symbolically represented closure between the two former Shield members. And that's where things get very interesting. Right now, this is speculation. There's no official announcement saying Seth Rollins will return before Survivor Series. But from a storyline perspective, there is a very interesting possibility developing. Look at what is happening around Roman Reigns right now. The bloodline situation is becoming increasingly complicated. Royce Keys has now become a major problem for the group. On the August 24th episode of Raw, Royce Keys and OTM attacked the Usos, LA Knight, and Solo Sikoa, escalating the ongoing conflict. And that creates an interesting scenario. You have Roman Reigns dealing with problems surrounding the bloodline. You have Royce Keys and OTM becoming increasingly aggressive. You have Solo Sikoa involved in the chaos. You have LA Knight involved in the broader conflict. And then there's Roman's history with Seth Rollins. The biggest clue may actually be that Shield fist bump. Because if WWE wanted to completely close the door on the idea of Roman and Seth ever working together again, they didn't necessarily need to end SummerSlam with that visual. Instead, they deliberately gave fans a moment showing that the two men had finally moved beyond their old hatred. That doesn't automatically mean a reunion is coming, but it gives WWE the option. And that's important. Imagine WWE decides to bring Seth Rollins back into the story. Roman Reigns is surrounded by enemies. The bloodline is facing internal and external problems. Royce Keys and OTM are creating chaos. Solo Sikoa and LA Knight remain involved in the situation. And then suddenly, Seth Rollins' music hits. The crowd explodes. Seth walks onto the stage. Roman looks toward him. For a few seconds, nobody knows what is going to happen. And then Seth stands beside Roman. That would immediately create one of the biggest moments WWE could produce heading into Survivor Series. And there's another reason it could work. Seth doesn't have to suddenly become a permanent member of Roman's faction. He doesn't have to become the Shield again. It could simply be two former brothers putting their differences aside because they have a bigger enemy. That would actually make the story more believable. The SummerSlam fist bump already established that the personal war between Roman and Seth had reached its conclusion. So if WWE now puts them on the same team, there's at least a storyline foundation for it. There is one major issue. Seth Rollins' return has not been officially confirmed. So we need to separate what we know from what we think could happen. What we know is that Roman Reigns defeated Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. We know the match ended with Roman and Seth performing the Shield fist bump. We know WWE presented that moment as closure to their rivalry. And we know the bloodline story is currently developing with Royce Keys and OTM creating new conflict. But there is currently no confirmed announcement that Seth Rollins will return before Survivor Series or that he will team with Roman Reigns. That part remains speculation. And WWE could obviously take the story in a completely different direction. Seth could return and immediately go after Roman again. He could start a completely new feud. He could enter the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Or WWE could keep him away from television for a while longer. But if the company wants a major surprise for Survivor Series, Roman and Seth are sitting there with a storyline that has already been prepared for them. Now imagine this. Survivor Series arrives. The bloodline situation has reached a breaking point. Roman Reigns needs partners. The other side has Royce Keys, OTM, and potentially more people joining the fight. Roman comes out first. Then another superstar joins. Then another. But there's still one spot remaining. The arena goes dark. The crowd starts reacting. And then, burn it down. Seth Rollins returns. That would be a huge reaction. And the visual of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins standing together again would immediately become one of the most talked about WWE moments of the year. But again, that's a fantasy booking scenario at this point, not a confirmed WWE plan. And that's exactly why this story is so interesting. Because WWE has already done the difficult part. They've repaired the relationship. They've given us the fist bump. They've ended the personal rivalry. Now all they need is the right reason to put them on the same side. And the current bloodline situation could provide exactly that reason. And this brings us back to the bigger picture. WWE currently has two huge stars whose futures are surrounded by questions. Bianca Belair is recovering while dealing with a concerning hand issue and adjusting to life as a new mother. Seth Rollins, meanwhile, is coming off a major SummerSlam loss and an emotional conclusion to his rivalry with Roman Reigns. Neither return should be taken for granted. For Bianca, her health has to come first. For Seth, WWE has to decide where he fits into the next major storyline. But if both eventually return around the same period, WWE could have some serious star power available. Bianca could dramatically change the women's division, and Seth could completely change the landscape of the bloodline storyline. That's why fans should keep watching, because the next few months could be very interesting. For now, the most important thing is that Bianca Belair gets healthy and takes the time she needs. And when she's ready, fans will undoubtedly be waiting. As for Seth Rollins, there is no official confirmation that he will return before Survivor Series. But the door is clearly open for WWE to use him in a major storyline, especially after that unforgettable Shield fist bump at SummerSlam. So what do you think? Should Seth Rollins return and team with Roman Reigns against the Bloodline's enemies? Or should Seth stay away from Roman and start an entirely new storyline? And when do you think Bianca Belair will finally make her WWE return? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this WWE update, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Pro Insights, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for more WWE news, rumors, returns, and storyline breakdowns. I'll see you in the next one.